Good morning. Today is Monday, June 16th, and this is Before the First Cup with Zori and Lady Pitbull. Good morning, Lady.
Hi, how are you?
Hanging in there. How about yourself?
I'm okay. It's the first stretch of hot and humid weather we've gotten yet this year, so I'd say we're pretty fortunate because it's been yesterday, even just yesterday was nice and cool, and it was really pretty outside, but now it's all humid and hazy and kind of yucky.
Yeah, it's been hot here. And we went a whole week with no chemtrails, none.
Yeah, same here. And then
until yesterday.
Yeah, same here.
Wow.
Isn't that weird? I totally noticed that too. I mean, yesterday it's like I'm laying out, and then they start spraying. Actually, it was the day before yesterday they started spraying. But it seemed like it was a couple of weeks that they haven't sprayed here.
Yeah, they did it a few months back. No, it's been about a year or so ago. They stopped for 3 months.
Wow.
So I don't know I don't know if they changed their chemicals or who knows.
Who knows, huh? I wish they'd frickin' stop permanently, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jeez, it's terrible. Well, I'm absolutely not prepared, but hey, I'll just wing it. It's alright. No problem. We can do this.
Yeah, it's just kind of trying to glance on things here, for I am not either.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll just muddle through here. So,
what is this? USA evacuates embassy as bombs fighting Iraq?
Yeah. Well, as those so-called Muslim extremists are there, they're absolutely getting all of the U.S. people out of there, private contractors and everything, and it's gone awry on purpose, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's all organized, but I can't see I don't know what the reason behind doing this is, to get this all started up again. What, we don't want to get out of Iraq?
Well, no, it's because we need to keep the Middle East destabilized. And we've got to put radical groups in there that want to impose like the worst possible Sharia law known to man. So they're just running around, just murdering people at will, and it's horrible. I mean, if you're a Christian or if you're anything other than a Sharia, like if you're a Sunni, you get shot in the head. They're literally marching people into pits.
I know, and to think of all the vets all the ones that have given up their lives over there, and for what? It's gone back to just exactly the way it was.
Yeah, it's worse than when Saddam was even in there. I mean, I'm sure the people in Iraq wish Saddam would come back. You know what I mean? But he's not going to.
God, I just feel for the people there, how horrible to live in that kind of terror.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every single day. It's just, and they're doing it, and they're going to bring it to us. It's it's not even a funny thing. This is all simply problem, reaction, solution, as Charles just so wonderfully emailed me or messaged me. Thanks, Charles. That's exactly right. It's the Hegelian dialectic here, and they create the problem, and the people cry for a reaction. Oh my God, please help us! And then, oh look, we've got the solution to that. But they're actually they are actually looking to Iran for help too. I mean, their next door neighbor. Yeah, they're going, geez, these militants are crazy, and the militants really are mostly Saudi based, with because I guess they were showing up in all these brand new tanks and these brand new Mercedes and all this crap and new Jeeps and all nice.
Like, nobody asked, wow, where did they get this stuff?
Right. Yeah, the Saudis have a lot to do with that. So, the Saudis are trying to destabilize all these regions you know, they want to just take over like any other fascist state. You know, like Israel, fascist state.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, that's the only conclusion I've been able to come up with, and it's horrible.
Yeah. I feel bad for all the innocent people, all the children, all the, you know, people that just want to live their lives and be left the hell alone.
Right, you know, I mean, we can think, you know, how horrible this is, but actually most of us have never lived through war.
Right.
You know, actually had bombs going off in your neighborhood, or seeing your family destroyed right there. I can't even fathom.
No, not at all. And that's what they do though. They go in there and they just start arbitrarily murdering people and murdering families and things like that. And then you get people who are pissed off and want revenge, you know? I mean, that's pretty much how it works.
And, you know, someone's going to be able to get this far, and we are going to find out, and that is going to be a slap in the face to people who, like, you know, they're people who support the war, that have never been in a war, that have no clue as to what this is it's really like.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly. And it's horrible because it's going to the Ukraine, going into Africa. Africa's just a mess right now. Those poor people, it's terrible. And then, you know, hey, what's left? Well, Europe and then America and even South America. They're working on destabilizing all that too. They've got to have a state of emergency around the entire world because they believe that people will say, oh, please, give us the one world government, and it's not going to happen, especially here in America.
I don't know. You know, like I said, nobody here's really lived through that. I mean, have you ever been around where a bomb went off? I haven't.
No.
You know, and to people here, they just keep going on as though nothing's wrong in the whole world. You know, they go out to the lake, and they go out for their football games or sports or whatever, as if no one's dying.
Yeah, that's right. Not yet, anyway. Not yet. And, you know, I mean, that's what everybody was doing here yesterday. You know, going out to the lake and having barbecues with Dad. And don't get me wrong, you know, Dad rocks, but, I mean, there's a lot of crap going on in the world, man.
With no, you know, nothing. I mean, you even ask the people who are think we did right and we were right to go over there and everything. They have no clue as to what's going on. They can't be bothered, or, you know.
That's right. Well, a lot of people just are so obviously wrapped up in their daily lives, trying to just survive, trying to survive $4 and $5 gallon of gas. And now as things get destabilized over there, you can bet your bottom dollar that all of the gas is going to just go skyrocketing, you know, to $8-9 a gallon, maybe 10. I mean, it's coming. It's here. And then, of course, you know, with all the food supplies getting messed with and all these beef recalls and all that, they're tightening the noose. And it's ever, you know, it's growing ever stronger, ever tighter. And, you know, and then all of a sudden one day the rug will just get pulled out. And that'll be all she wrote. And then it'll just be crazy chaos on the streets, man.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, it's not anymore if it happens, it's when.
Right. Yeah, they're just doing it incrementally, so that it's not noticeable.
Yeah, like the boiling frog, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking about that day before yesterday. I was down, I go across the lake to get up to Dunsmuir. And I looked out, and there's all these big boats out there, and all these people don't have a thought in the world as to what's going on.
Right.
It just hit me hard. I don't know.
Yeah, it's I totally see. I do that sometimes too, you know. You know, you see the boats out there and la la la, you know, and it's like, and you're thinking, man, you just don't have a clue, dude. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I don't know.
And then what can we do to stop it? How do you stop this madness? You know, I mean, just really, I don't know of any solution.
Well, it's gotta, most of the time, it's gotta come right to people's own doorsteps in order for people to figure this out, which is really, really unfortunate. But that's kind of why we're here at UCY.TV. You know, we're trying to get the word out. We're trying here. Seems like it doesn't do a damn bit of good, though. You know what I mean? Because you just see it and you're not noticing any damn changes whatsoever. The criminals just keep getting away with being criminals. And nothing's changing at all. It seems to be just getting worse and worse and worse. It's horrible. I don't know, man. I'm gonna poke around here and see what it's. I don't know. I feel really bad for the innocents that just get completely leveled.
Yeah.
Killed.
Yeah. What is that? It just caught my. It's at a hockey game. They destroyed a drone. Oh, but now it won't come up.
Oh man.
Wait. Oh, it looks like raging hockey fans destroyed an LAPD drone last night.
Oh, right on, because the Kings won the Stanley Cup.
And so they destroyed a drone? How?
Sounds fun to
videos have been posted online showing what uploaders described as hockey fans destroying a LA police drone outside Staples Center Friday night after LA Kings Cup was won. Riot police were called in to break up what the LA Times described as a melee outside the arena following Kings' victory over the King New York Rangers. In one clip posted online, a drone can be seen hovering over the crowd of hockey fans before it was knocked out of the sky by people throwing shoes and clothing. Oh my God!
Woohoo! Right on, man. I mean, just like a bat, man. You just throw a shoe up at that sucker. Hey, if it flies, it dies.
Wow!
Fantastic. All you need is a good damn slingshot. Fantastic. Keep going.
Yeah, I wonder, well, you know, okay, in another clip, the drone is not visible, but the hockey fans can be heard chanting, "We got the drone, we got the drone." The person who uploaded that video to Facebook included a description that said it showed fans rejoicing after taking down the LAPD drone that was hovering over the Kings Championship celebration. As of the writing, the LAPD has not responded to multiple requests for comment from the Business Inside area. Oh, wow.
Fantastic. That's the best news I've heard all day.
Now that one wasn't armed, but God, just think, if they get that, I've never seen one, so I didn't know they got that close to actually be able to take it down by throwing things at them.
Well, that just goes to show you that these things are not invulnerable, you know what I mean? They're not, it's easy to knock one of those suckers out of the sky, so that's encouraging to me.
Yeah, they just got, it says last month the LAPD announced it was giving 2 unmanned drone aerial vehicles by the Seattle Police Department. The vehicle in the video does not appear to be a Dragon Flyer X6, which is the model LAPD received from Seattle. What? It doesn't appear to have been the police then? The vehicle in the video does not appear to be a Dragon Flyer X6, which is the model LAPD received from Seattle. So I wonder if this was some kind of private one.
That's interesting.
But you think the police would have commented that it wasn't theirs?
Well, they're not going to. They're embarrassed as hell right now.
Right, spent all that money probably for, you know, a drone.
Yeah, that's what's kind of cool is that, you know, I mean, if these damn drones can be taken out so freaking easily, I mean, they're going to just be dumping millions of dollars into this freaking program for nothing. So, it's encouraging because, it's, oh, look, there's footage of it. Hilarious. Yeah, man, some dude took it out with a freaking t-shirt, it looks like. From what it looks like.
Yeah, wow.
Somebody flung a t-shirt, somebody put a knot in a t-shirt and then hurled it at the drone and it knocked it right out. I mean, that's not even a tennis shoe. That's not even a shoe. That's just a t-shirt with a knot in it. It looks totally like that.
Wow.
Which isn't much force, which is my point. And
right.
I mean, that's cool, man. I mean, it just seems like they'll be easy to be taking these things out, and they cost thousands of dollars a pop. So that's cool, man. I'm encouraged by that. Fantastic. Yeah. Good to the dude who did that.
Right. And goes when they announced the gift from Seattle, the department said it wouldn't engage in widespread surveillance with the aerial vehicles and would only employ them for narrow and prescribed uses, including hostage situations, barricades, and suspect searches. On June 5th, in response to the criticism over the department's potential drone usage, LAPD Chief Charlie Beck said he would seek input from privacy advocates and civil rights groups before deploying the unmanned aerial vehicles. We're going to thoroughly vet the public opinion on the use of these aerial surveillance platforms before, Beck said. So obviously they didn't. So obviously they lied.
Right. That's right. That's funny. I think that's great, man. And I just posted that in chat, and you can clearly see it wasn't a shoe at all. You can clearly see some dude tied a knot in a t-shirt or a jersey or something, and took that sucker right out. That's fantastic.
All right. But don't fool ourselves. If they put armed ones up there, it's not going to be so easy.
No, but, I mean, you know, that's, if you're getting shot upon, then natural defenses do shoot back.
Right.
So, and that's a defensive posture only. I mean, they're the ones that are attacking us with cameras.
Yeah, it shows, you know, what people can do when they get pissed off.
That's right. Yeah, and they think it's going to be easy to, you know, subjugate us, but you know what? I got news for them. It's not. And the footage of that is fantastic. I'm like looking at this, and it's just this GIF that keeps repeating over and over and over. You know, this little GIF thing, whatever they say it is, and it shows them knocking it out of there. It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
I dig it. If it flies, it dies. That's the mantra I always say. Which is awesome. I mean, you could take those things out with a freaking wrist rocket.
Mm-hmm.
Bam! Well-placed rock.
Right.
That's it. That's all you gotta use. You doing all right?
Yeah. And then, like, more than 35,000 illegals entering Texas each month. Where? Yeah, I heard they were shipping some of them off to Massachusetts even. I mean, we're putting them everywhere.
Yeah.
Where is the National Guard or any? You know, they could stop this if they really wanted to, but
they don't want to. That's the point. It's crazy. Jimmy just messages me and he says, "Buy a 5x5 fishnet and tie rocks to two of the corners and throw it over that sucker, man." That's totally awesome. That's a good idea, man. I like that idea. I mean, you can, like, devise any old way. I guess you can even, like, take a one of those RC remote controllers, and then just try and, I mean, if you're really adept at this stuff, you could jam their frequencies or even take it over if you're a cool hacker, you know what I mean? Know how to do that stuff. Just take over their own drones.
But then too, that one was getting close to the ground, but the ones that I'm sure like they used over in Iraq, they aren't real close down where people can...
Oh, yeah, because those are the ones that are way the hell up and can surveil people from way, way up. We were saying, there's that one that's like, I don't know, 25,000 feet in the air. It can go away, and it can focus on something like the size of a dime on the ground.
Yeah. But it is encouraging, and I hope, people take notice of, how much they lie to us. We're not going to use it, and then they do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, we're not going to use this against the American people, and it's exactly what it's for, I mean, that's their whole... It's nothing but lies, 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 and then, oh, look, they're giving more weapons and tanks and stuff to the local police forces and sheriff's offices. I mean, if anybody doesn't think that that's not for us, then you better wake up. One of the sheriffs just said that America's a war zone. Well, I'm not looking outside my door right now and seeing any war zone. What the where's that freaking sheriff at? I mean, even to Detroit, if you go down there right now and just get out and, go to the river and chill out, it's not a war zone down there. I mean, it's actually quite nice down in there in Detroit. Believe me, I go there all the time. So it's, I don't know what the hell the sheriff's talking about. It's a war zone out there. Yep. It's crazy, man.
And getting crazier.
It's getting worse and worse and worse. So, and Jimmy just says, don't know how World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. That's true. That's sticks, stones, and improvised weapons. That's for sure, man. That's absolutely for sure. Doing all right?
Especially, yeah, if more and more people give up their guns, it's going to make it easier and easier.
Yeah, that's why no one's going to do that.
I don't know. A lot of people, when they offered that gun buyback in LA, I was astonished at the lines of people going in and giving them up.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and for nothing, too. I mean, they're giving up for, a couple of tickets to a game or some crap. And $4,000 weapons. You know what I mean? They're getting just, less than $100 for each one of them. It's terrible.
Yeah. These are the people that aren't paying attention. They're just, I don't know, in La La Land.
Yeah.
I don't watch TV, but I have no idea what's hitting the news here. But if it's not in the news, people just don't, look anywhere or, even wonder, I don't think, about what's going on in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then here's this other thing. Obama tells college grads to take on climate change deniers. And people, they see those chemtrails, don't think nothing of it. And then here he is promoting this again. Right. What is this distraction from? Is it from what's going on over in Iraq or what? You wonder why he's going in this direction.
Exactly. I don't wonder why. I know why he's going in that direction. It's not a good deal, man. Not a good deal at all.
And now, I was kind of glancing over, and I see nothing now about the exchange, for the 5 prisoners we had. That exchange. It was all over to to impeach Obama, and it was a big deal, and now I see nothing about it.
Right. Oh yeah. All of a sudden, yeah, exactly. They made such a big deal about it. Ooh. And now there's nothing. So I think a couple of, like, when those shootings last weekend happened all in a row, that was a really nice distraction from all that bird doll stuff. That's what they keep doing over and over and over, though. They honestly, they just, let me see here. Trying to find, like, someone who'll come on with me real quick. Let me see.
Yeah, that would be nice. I just got sick during the night, and it's...
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I'm so distracted myself. And you know, it's true, if you don't take care of your health, you're not going to be able to fight back when it does happen.
Oh, yeah, that's the whole point. I mean,
all these poisons they're putting in our foods, in our air, in our water, and people get sick more often than they ever did before, and whenever you're sick, you know you're not going to be able to do anything to defend yourself.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Well, that's the thing. I mean, people who are, raging alcoholics, drug addicts, you name it.
That too.
Cigarette smokers even. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to get down on all that, and everybody
can do whatever. We're in a nation
of
addictions.
Yeah, and it's crazy because when the time comes to fight, no one's going to physically be able to do it. And that's kind of a scary deal, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's insanely crazy. This is predominantly the reason why I'm in my self-defense classes, and I'm really trying to, like, get a handle on my diet and not eat processed foods or any of that stuff. It doesn't always work. I'm not, always like perfect about it, but damn it, I'm trying real hard here. Everybody needs to be doing the same. And people who are addicted to pain medications and pharmaceuticals and all that too.
Right, this country takes more than any other country. We indulge more in pharmaceutical drugs. I mean, that seems to be more the epidemic than street drugs anymore.
Right. And yeah, it's way worse. In fact, good Lord, man. And it makes you do crazy stuff, too. I mean, people just go off the chain.
Yeah, I have a friend that works in a pharmacy, and she was robbed once. And the guy came in with a gun and robbed the place, but he didn't take one penny of money. He took Oxycontin and one other drug, and I mean, you go to such extremes to get what you need, what your body needs now, because you've gotten addicted to pharmaceuticals, and they just keep pumping them out.
Absolutely. And they're making just ungodly profits off this stuff too. Just huge profits. Mm-hmm. And it's making people sicker, and it's making people weaker, and it's making people, it doesn't cure anything. It just stays off the symptoms. And
yep, and starting off young, 2 and 3 year olds on medication. That's going to be their whole life, and adults don't seem to connect the two or relate it at all.
Right, especially like when they're really that young, 2 and 3, their brains are developing, into their 20s, but some of the most important parts of the brain develop in mm-hmm. that time when they're toddlers like that.
When all you can think about is the drug that you need. Oh, it's time for my medicine. If they're late, and I don't know, not even be able to comprehend the world around them.
Yeah. And this is what it was when Aldous Huxley, that's Brave New World.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what was stated in that book. People will learn to love their servitude, and they're going to be happy and complacent with subjugation with chemical lobotomies. That's where we're at right now. We are exactly at that point. He wrote that like at the turn of the freaking last century, for God's sakes, and everything in that book is coming true even more so.
Mm-hmm. And 1984.
And 1984, exactly. But it's almost like this stuff kind of pales in comparison to those books. What's really happening now with all the tech that's being wrought upon us, as we talk about on here all the time with Jules. You know what I mean? I feel myself rocking on a daily basis.
Yeah. and people, they see it, but it's like it doesn't sink in.
It doesn't, does it?
You'll hear people make comments and stuff, but then they go on their merry way and just like, oh, it's nothing, and this is your whole world.
Yeah, it doesn't affect me. It's not going to affect me. But it's going to affect your children and grandchildren. Is that the kind of world you want to leave them? You want them becoming part cyborg, part cybernetic organism? I mean,
right.
I was telling this to this young kid like the other day, and he I don't know, he couldn't have been more than like 18 years old, and I was pointing out like the chemtrails, and there was this big giant chemtrail in the sky, and then there was a plane flying directly like below the freshly laid trail, and it was a contrail because it was dissipating behind it, right? And I was explaining him the difference between the two, and he got it. But I was like, now do you know what they put in that crap? And I was saying, aluminum, barium, and nanotech particles. He's like, what? And I explained to him what it was, and he looked at me like I was absolutely off my rocker. That we could be breathing this stuff into our lungs and have like little tiny microscopic robots, waiting in the lining of our bodies, just waiting for some activation chip to be activated. Crazy. And he was just like, now you've gone too far. And
then they'll go to school and their teachers will tell them just the opposite.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's crazy out there, man. I mean, people just they have a hard time wrapping their minds around this kind of stuff because it's so horrific and so, not believable. It's out of a science fiction film. But, and then you get told, oh, you watch too many movies, dude. You know what I mean? But, that isn't the case at all. Well,
and it's like with the drugs, it says right here, I caught this one, and it says, meth pours into Central California as a liquid. Fresno, California, methamphetamine speed underworld traffickers are disguising the drug as a liquid, describing the drug as a liquid to smuggle it into the United States from Mexico. Dissolved in a solution, it's sealed in tequila bottles or plastic detergent containers to fool border agents and traffic officers. Once deep in California's Central Valley, a national distribution hub, meth cooks converts it into crystals, the most sought-after form of the street drug. Man, they're just bombarding us with this now.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you try that drug, that particular drug, one time, that's it. You're completely addicted.
Well, not everyone, but it is very addictive.
It's horrible.
Especially anyone with an addictive personality.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what those two that killed those cops in Nevada. That's what those two were on. So, I mean, they can't, blame patriots for that. That's for sure. Blame the freaking meth that the freaking government brings in.
Yeah. Man. Just like, like crack. Crack was introduced to Watts in Compton, California by the CIA, and that was proven There's no denying that.
Nope.
And, you know, they're letting a lot of this come across because it disables people.
That's right. That's right. And if people are totally whacked out on drugs, doesn't matter what kind of drugs, then, you know, they're not going to be able to fight it when, you know, the subjugation comes down, like we always been saying. We always say that, and it's obvious. And meth is just a really bad thing, man. That stuff. I have never tried it and never freaking will. That stuff is just, it's terrible what it does to you. Oh my god. People, like, smoke that shit out of, like, an old light bulb.
Ooh.
Like, they'll take a light bulb and they'll like, break it so that they'll take the guts out of it, and then they'll use the glass. And they'll put the meth in the glass part, and then take a lighter to it, kind of like heroin, you know, on a spoon. And that's how they cook it up. And I don't know, man. Using a freaking light bulb to do that is just, you're just getting all the toxic crap that's in there. I guess you don't care if you want to get your hit, but damn, man, can't you people, like, figure something else out? Goodness. It's horrible. I think it's because the light bulb glass is thin or whatever, you know, that it's easy to cook, but God, I don't know, man, it's crazy. People are absolutely insane. So, alright. Okay, I'm gonna, let's see. Sorry, had to step out for a minute, so I'm gonna just go ahead and keep yapping here. Let's see. Where are we gonna go, guys? Well, here's one that says, since we're talking about, drugs and stuff, it says, border agents laments gang members entering U.S. Why are we letting him in here? Alright, so it says border patrols are swamped by the number of minors crossing illegally into the United States and frustrated that they can't turn away known Mexican gang members. So they are just completely... They're absolutely, completely just letting everybody into the borders. It's not just kids. It's not just children that are lining up at these places. They're letting everybody in here. Chris Carabra, Vice President of the National Border Patrol Council, Local 3307 in Rio Grande Valley, said that confirmed gang members in Mexico, including those from Mara Salvatrucha, MS-13, are coming into the country and to be reunited with their families. National Review reported Friday. Oh, isn't that nice? Let's reunite the gang members with their families. How sweet. How touching. If he's a confirmed gang member in his own country, why are we letting him in here? I've heard people come in and say, you're going to let me go just like you let my mother go, just like you let my sister go, you're going to let me go as well, and the government's going to take care of us, Mr. Carabra told the magazine. Really? So this is... Okay, guys, that just pisses me off right there. He said the only way to solve the problem was to implement harsher restrictions on who can be allowed to cross. Until we start mandatory detentions, mandatory removals, I don't think anything's going to change. As a matter of fact, I think it's going to get worse, he said, National Review reported. So, until we start mandatory detentions and mandatory removals, what does that mean, guys? It means... let's put the FEMA camps in use. We've got, here goes the problem reaction solution again, right? We've got all these illegals coming in now. We've got all these people that need help. We've got all these people that need assistance. They need our assistance. They need to be reunited with their families here in America that came across illegally in the first place, right? So how do we contain this situation? We've got a crisis. Well, Let's just start putting all these FEMA camps that are ready to go, laying in waiting for people to go into them. First, they're going to use these things for illegals, right? For this massive problem that's being created on our borders, this, mass exodus that's being created on our borders on purpose. So, throw them into FEMA camps. Let's get these facilities up and operating. There you go. Other Border Patrol officials say that officers must treat minors with gang-affiliated tattoos the same as anybody else wishing to cross the border. Now, isn't that nice? It's upsetting that a lot of them are 16, 17 years old, and a lot of them are not going to face deportation, said Art Del Quido, president of the National Border Patrol Local 2544 in Tucson, Arizona. Mr. Carabra told the news agency that the Rio Grande Valley location has 9 stations. The largest facility is in McAllen, Texas, with a capacity of 275 people. As agencies between 700 and 1,500 people daily. That's nice. That McAllen, Texas is actually a FEMA camp, people. I think freaking AJ went down there and got pictures of it, and they actually had people in there already. That were illegals, Mexican illegals coming across the border. But if it only holds 200 people, and they've got, 1,500 people going in there every day, yeah, there's a problem. There's going to be a big problem with that. Here we go. I mean, hold on to your bootstraps. I don't think that there's ever been a mass exodus like this in our country's history of just open help. The gates are open. Come on in, anybody and everybody. We don't care who you are. If you got family here, hey, grandpa, aunt, uncles, cousins, 5th cousins. How about 9th cousins? Bring them all in. I mean, shit. That's what they're doing. That's exactly what's happening right now. And we've got more than, in Texas, Rio Grande Valley, a seemingly endless surge of immigrants. The call went out on Border Patrol radios just before sundown one day this week. 31 immigrants spotted illegally crossing the Rio Grande border on a raft. No sooner had the migrants been found hiding in the mesquite brush, then another report came in. A woman and a boy were walking up the riverbank. The Rio Grande Valley has become ground zero for an unprecedented surge in families and unaccompanied children flooding across the southwest border, creating what the Obama administration is calling a humanitarian crisis, as borders officials struggle to accommodate new detainees. Largely from Central America, they're now arriving at a rate of more than 35,000 a month. Let me read that again. They are now arriving at a rate of more than 35,000 a month. Where are all these people going to go? Where are they going to put all these people? Well, I think I just explained that. This is crazy. They're creating this crisis. They're saying that Border Patrol agents right now are freaking changing diapers and heating up baby bottles. Changing diapers. For kids that are under 3. It's crazy.
And as soon as they're across the border, they're wards of the state.
Exactly. CPS swoops in. Boy, they've got like all kinds of brand new meat now coming in over these borders. It's sick. It's sick.
And all the money. They're talking about spending billions for the care of these minors coming across.
And it's just, the child traffickers are down there just taking their pick of these poor little kids, and just taking their pick and who they want, and it's a freaking smorgasbord for the human traffickers right now. Oh man, it's sick. Let's see.
You're telling me they can't control this? I mean, where's like I said, where's our National Guard? And Obama, they're still talking about immigration. We should bring more in.
Oh yeah, they're talking about amnesty. I mean, that's what it's been on the table for a long time, and freaking Obama wants to sign an executive order creating amnesty for all these people. And that's what he's going to do. And he's not going to be held accountable for it either, for breaking our own laws. It's just
forget about a border. We don't have a border anymore.
Exactly. Well, this is what the whole North American Union thing is about. And I don't think Canada's going to be so willing to open up their border. Let me tell you that right now. I think it's going to be a hard...
go there, though. You know it is.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're part of the North American Union.
That's right. That's exactly right. Well, let me continue with this. Yeah. Anne's Doulas Park, a 96-acre expanse of closed-crop fields and woodland that sits on a southern bend of the river, has turned from an idyllic family recreation area into a high-traffic zone for illegal immigration. The number of children and teenagers traveling alone from Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador is expected to reach up to 90,000 across the southwest border by the end of the year, along with a surge of families and children seeking safe passage into the U.S. Oh my God, 90,000 by the end of this year. So in other words, it's whatever the numbers have been up to this point, and then add the 90,000 on top of that. So we're talking about astronomical amounts of people here that they're not going to have anywhere to go. They're not going to, oh my God.
They're going to have to be fed.
Yeah. Clothed and hospital care. Everything. Just lay out the red carpet. And what's worse is that, like in that last article I read, these people are expecting it. They're expecting to be taken care of. They're expecting to be fed. They demand that we're going to take care of them. They're demanding it, damn it. And if we aren't going to feed them and clothe them and take care of them and house them, then we're freaking racists. You know what I mean? And all of the whiteys deserve to die. All right.
Here comes the food shortage.
Exactly.
The farmers aren't planting this year because they can't get no water here. So where's the food going to come from?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. It says, this is the hottest spot in the nations for crossing, said Hidalgo County Sheriff Precinct Constable Lazaro Larry Galadero, whatever. A Valley native who said he's never seen migration waves such as the scale during his 14 years of office. Something's got to be done because the numbers are just too high. Really, you think? Detentions along the stretch of river have gone up from 50 immigrants in a week to as many as 300 in a week. On Tuesday,
now, why can't they get their riot patrols and all that? For protesters, we can get how many cops? Thousands of cops out there, to stop the protests. Well, why aren't they down at the borders then, using all this military equipment and stuff?
Yeah, they got all this new tanks and ACPs and all this crap, and
to use against Americans.
That's right. They're not going to be using it against illegals. Wow, man. Yeah, this is just absolutely crazy. And nothing's going to be done about it. It's sick. I can't even deal with it, man.
Yeah. And then they're talking about reuniting the kids with their parents and stuff. So then what do? We bring the parents over to take care of them. I don't know. This is so insane.
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely crazy. I can't. It's... Alright, but it's all for a purpose here. It's to bring down the middle class to a lower, to a first world country or whatever. Alright, let me continue to read. Let's see. The basic difference is that the vast majority of those people were here legally, whereas the current group has come here illegally. Let's see, and that was Donald.
And they're not all just from Mexico. They're coming from other countries.
South America. That's the problem. It's actually another continent. So that's what's bad about it. All right, so this guy Donald Ray, executive director of the Southwest Border Sheriff's Coalition. You end up with a double-edged sword. You want to deal with the humanitarian side, but you also have to deal with the rule of law side. This is exactly the plan here. Many of the migrants are young women with children who tell authorities they are fleeing unrest in their homelands. What about unrest here? Not long ago, a Honduran woman barely made it across the river before giving birth among the park's red and blue picnic tables and sign warning children at play. Real nice. Some migrants cross on weekends and try to blend in with picnicking crowds in the park, but many willingly give themselves up. Driven by reports in Central America, the immigrants who arrive with children are being allowed to stay in the U.S. indefinitely. Well, I wonder where the hell they're hearing that shit from. Officials believe smugglers use some families as decoys to divert authorities' attention from other migrants crossing elsewhere. One woman walking up the park riverbank this week with a boy made no attempt to flee when Sergeant Daniel Boyles, a Hidalgo County Sheriff Constable, approached. She touted 2 purses as if headed to the mall, and a stark contrast to migrants of years past who girded themselves with survival gear to endure harsh treks through the desert. Did you come on a raft? Boyles asked in Spanish. Yes, the woman said, after traveling by bus from Honduras. He's your son? Yes. She said, 9 years old. The boy's left arm was in a cast as a result of falling out of a tree before their trip. Around his neck he wore a black and white cross woven from plastic lanyards. Did you pay someone to cross? She said she paid $1,000. 10 times the going rate before the recent influx.
Yeah, now look, that's a big money maker too for those guys that are crossing them.
Yeah, who the hell is making all this cash from these?
The Mexicans down there that these people pay them thousands and thousands of dollars to get them across safely, and a lot of them just get dumped out in the middle of the desert.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and it probably takes a lot to come up with $1,000 for a lot of these people.
Oh, yeah, that's just a low amount, too. A lot of them pay a lot more.
Sure, absolutely. She said her son needs an eye operation that she could not afford. Oh, yeah, just come in here and we'll give him an eye operation. No problem. She had heard that they would be... Oh, here we go. She had heard that they would be allowed to stay in the U.S. as long enough for her to find work and pay for the surgery. We can stay temporarily and get money if we have to go, we go, she said with tears in her eyes before the Border Patrol agents loaded them to a van, headed for a station already overcrowded with migrants. Months later, a Guatemalan woman walked up to Boyles out of the darkness with her 15-year-old son and her 2-year-old daughter. The boy carried his sister, who wore a frilly green dress and patent leather shoes. They had been hiding in the marsh, which was filled with tarantulas and lizards. Signs nearby warned of snakes. Their 15-day journey, she said, had begun after her husband abandoned her and his brother kicked them out of the family home. Now her jeans, studded with pink rhinestones, were covered in mud, and she was crying with relief. Border facilities in Texas and Arizona have become quickly overloaded. Wow, do you think? the McAllen Border Patrol station here, which is based to detain 250 immigrants, instead houses 1,500 daily, according to Border Patrol agent Chris Carabra, vice president of the agents union's local chapter. We just read about this guy in the last article. Other smaller stations in the valley were housing twice or 3 times their capacity, he said. Emergency shelters have been open at military bases in Texas, Oklahoma, and California. Ding, 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 ding. FEMA camps. And at another facility in Arizona. But immigrant advocates and border agents have described the initial intake facilities on the border as badly overcrowded and ill-equipped to handle the onslaught. Milay Hernandez, a 12-year-old Honduran girl who made the trip with her 8-year-old sister, said the journey with smugglers wasn't as difficult as her 4 days in detention in McAllen at last July. We were there 4 days without showering, without brushing our teeth, Milay said. The guards weren't always angry. The guards were always angry. Wow, I wonder why. They told me as I was asking for too much water to drink. Okay. In a complaint. Oh, here we go, guys. In a complaint filed last week with the Federal Department of Homeland Security, 5 immigrant rights groups, including the ACLU, Union Border Litigation Project. Oh, really? They've got a whole group with this. Alleged that children in custody between the ages of 5 and 17 face physical and sexual abuse, overcrowding, freezing temperatures, inadequate water, and spoiled food. Well, you know what? Maybe they should have stayed where the hell they were. You know what I mean? And they wouldn't have freezing temperatures and overcrowding.
Well, they get fed these stories about how glorious it is here, and then man.
Yeah, and then they come here, and it's like, oh, okay. It's not so great over here. Yeah, it's not, people. And
the long term, what are we going to do with all these people? Right now, like they're filling old military bases and this and that, but then what do you do with them?
I got an idea. I've got a great idea. There's a bunch of buildings. Well, we can send them back, but there's a bunch of white buildings that are around the D.C. area that are plenty big to house these people. Let's send them all to the White House. Let's send them all to let's send them all down there, man. Send them straight to D.C. and let Obama house these people. And there's plenty of room in the White House, I'm sure, for some of these people. How about Congress? There's plenty of empty spots, and they've got lots of empty rooms. How about the Pentagon? There's a ton of empty rooms in the Pentagon these people can go to. Let's just send them all to D.C. That's my... Just send them all there. You deal with it. That's my idea.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Where was I? All right. Border Patrol officials said that they will look into the allegations. Cabrera, that's what it was. Cabrera said the agents are also concerned about unsanitary conditions, such as the practice of quarantining sick immigrants behind, oh, that's nice, guys, behind a piece of yellow tape strung across the room that does little to protect agents or fellow migrants. Yeah, that's nice. So if they come in sick with, like, say, I don't know, Ebola, they're just putting yellow tape, and then that's how they're protecting everybody else. That's real nice. Cleaning crews wipe the holding areas down regularly, but agents still fear contagious diseases, Cabrera said. It's not just the disease issues, it's the sheer amount of filth that's floating in the air. Oh, man, that's nasty. Like I said, send her to the freaking White House. There's plenty of room there. President Obama has directed federal agencies to address the widening crisis in the Rio Grande Valley with new stopgap measures announced almost daily. Yet another temporary detention center that's scheduled to open in McAllen, Texas in a 55,000 square foot warehouse, Cabrera said. In Arizona, state officials have rushed provisions such as vaccines and other medical supplies to a federal holding facility in Nogales, which is being used to hold children who were caught crossing unaccompanied into Rio Grande Valley. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials say they do not have room to detain parents and children long term. Children detained by immigration authorities are supposed to be held for a maximum of 72 hours, then moved to temporary shelters where they spend about a month on average before being placed with relatives or sponsors while their immigration cases are pending. But senior Obama administration officials who briefed reporters this week acknowledged that they haven't been able to meet the 72-hour requirement. Really, I wonder why. There's simply not enough staff to process all the new arrivals. Oh, goody. Once they are processed, the Border Patrol has been flying many families to other states. Really? Who's paying for all this shit? They're flying many families to other states and releasing them en masse at bus stations with notices to appear in immigration courts at their destinations. At the McAllen Greyhound station this week, volunteers set up tables for donations when they then moved to a nearby church hall that was soon overwhelmed by immigrant mothers. Among them was Blanca Isabel Cruz, 36, who had brought her daughter Xenia, 13, across the river on a raft with smugglers after traveling north by bus from El Salvador. They planned to catch a bus to join relatives in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And the family had migrated in stages. First, their 15-year-old daughter with cousins. Then, her husband, a fisherman, with their 6-year-old daughter. Then, Cruz with Xenia. Oh, isn't that nice? Everybody's reunited. Cruz, a petite woman with a ponytail and a pink t-shirt, said they came because gang violence has worsened in their coastal city of La Union as a 2-year-old truce had disintegrated between the country's two largest gangs, and a new government failed to help. There are gangs and delinquents all over the place, she said. Here it is safe, and the flow continues. At 11:26 p.m. Wednesday, nearly half an hour after Sergeant Boyle's shift ended, a woman with 3 boys approached his truck out of the dark. Nice. Belkin Rivera Hernandez, 24, said she'd heard television reports that single mothers would receive permission to stay in the U.S. and decided to try to cross with her son and 2 other boys from Honduras, hoping to meet her mother in Virginia. The situation in Honduras is only getting worse, she said, as Broyles handed her a chilled bottle of water, part of supplies deputies by themselves for the immigrants. Border Patrol agents arrived and loaded the family into a van with nearly half a dozen other women and children. All right, people, this whole thing has become just ungodly out of hand now, on purpose, and we've already stated the reasons why. So here we go. Fasten your seatbelt. Anybody who's living down there in Texas and Arizona, and all those border states, good luck. I don't know.
Isn't there even some stores down there that accept pesos for currency too?
Oh yeah, I'm sure of it. That's obvious. I think even Hammy was like saying stuff like that. You know, it's all these people want is a job and a chance to make it. You know, so
right. But what happens to the Americans if they don't have jobs now? Because
exactly. Exactly. Everybody becomes knocked down into a third world country. So this crap is getting really, really, really bad by the minute. By the minute.
And they just don't see. I mean, we're a superpower country, and we can't even protect our own borders.
No. Well, we can. We're just not on purpose.
Yeah. If we were even trying at all, these many people could not get in.
Look, Joe Biden's heading to Guatemala. Oh, looky, looky, looky. Oh, isn't that special? Here we go. Biden heading to Central America to stop tide of children. Oh, like he's really going to make a damn difference. All right, here goes this propaganda. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get through this propaganda bullshit, but it says, facing a tide of unaccompanied children pouring into the U.S., the Obama administration will dispatch Vice President Joe Biden to Central America this week, along with a bunch of other CIA people. I just added that. I'm sure the CIA is all up in Central America. They have been for years and years and years, just creating all this violence, creating all this crap with the rival drug. They're creating all this crap. Don't think twice that that's not happening. I'll tell you that, because it is. Alright, I'll get back to this. Absolutely crazy. I can't even stand all this shit, because it's driving me nuts. Alright, so here comes Vice President Joe Bite Me to Central America this week to make it clear that they are not eligible for a path to citizenship and may be subject to deportation. Well, that's bullshit, because they're not deporting these people. What the hell kind of bullshit line is this guy touting? Bite Me will go to Guatemala on Friday, and at the end of a trip to South America, and will meet with the government leaders from the country, as well as El Salvador and Honduras, the administration says. The visit comes amid an influx of tens of thousands of children crossing into the United States, many of them traveling alone. A senior White House official attributed the flood of children to violence and lack of economic opportunity in the region, but the official also acknowledged a, quote, misperception of U.S. immigration policy, unquote. Really, I wonder how the hell they got that misperception. Bastards. And that Biden will emphasize that illegal immigration is unsafe, and that newly arriving children will not be eligible for earned citizenship in the U.S. Really? I think that's a line of bullshit. Because they've already told them that they are going to be eligible for citizenship. So what the hell kind of lies is this guy touting? This is just so Hegelian up the... I can't even deal with it. The bottom line is that it's not worth subjecting children to a perilous journey when at the end of the day there's no light at the end of the tunnel, the administration official said, speaking on a condition of anonymity as a matter of policy, of course. Critics have suggested that President Obama's directive in 2012 to allow some undocumented immigrant children to defer deportation services as a lure to immigrants. Gee, you think? The directive applies only to children brought to the U.S. as minors before June 2007, but critics charge it has encouraged illegal immigration. Alright, that is as far as I'm going to go with this stinking article, because it just pisses me off. Joe Biden's over there just... I don't know. I don't know what he's doing over there. I think he's secretly, telling him to come. I don't believe...
Well, obviously his being there isn't doing anything to stop it.
No. Not at all. It's just, it's by design this is happening. And then soon, people with, Americans with, big homes, 2 to 3 bedrooms. They're going to eventually, it's going to be that you'll have to open your home up to immigrant families, and then I can see where all this is headed. I can just see where it's all headed. They're going to just start mandating that that Americans house whole families of immigrants in their own homes. I can just see these mandations just coming down the pike in the future. It's not hard to see where all this is going. When they have to do all this for humanitarian purposes. It's sick. This is totally making me sick. And it's to bring us down. And I don't know what more really to say about it. I know some people out there don't really agree with that supposition, but it's becoming more and more obvious as the days are going on here with these people. So let's see, where else can we go? Alright, I guess we're going to switch gears here because I found this very, very interesting here. It's kind of a lengthy article, but I might as well go ahead and read it. So, I'm going to go across the other border now here into Canada, and this is going to be really interesting to see now that the Canadian Supreme Court has decided on this issue. It's going to be interesting to see what the United States is going to do about this, because this is going against what they're trying to do with the internet here. It says the Canadian Supreme Court ruled last week that police need a warrant to get internet customers' identities. And so this is a pretty big deal. The Supreme Court of Canada says police need a search warrant to get information from internet service providers about their subscribers' identities when they are under investigation. So, here we go. This is out of Ottawa. The Supreme Court of Canada broke new legal ground for privacy rights in a ruling that says the Constitution protects the anonymity of Canadian internet users Canadian users expect when they go online. The High Court, in a bombshell 8-0 decision, ruled Friday police must obtain search warrants to obtain basic subscriber information such as a customer's name, address, and phone number from telecom companies when an officer suspects illegal activity. That's kind of cool. This is really cool. The decision immediately put in doubt the fate of 2 conservative government bills that expand warrantless access to such data. But it was hailed by privacy rights experts across the country, with Federal Privacy Commissioner David Theron called it a seminal decision for privacy protection in Canada. Theron said it recognized that anonymity on the internet is a critical component of informational privacy. Absolutely. I agree with that. In the past, privacy was seen through a territorial lens. A man's home was his castle. And in the modern information age, the debate over private Canadians' personal information was inspired in context of those who controlled it or had access to it, or how much confidentiality or secrecy attached to which kinds of information, such as medical or tax records, and the content of phone calls or electronic communications. With this decision, the High Court has said Canadians have a, quote, reasonable expectation, unquote, There's the key words. Reasonable expectation that they do not, that what they do and where they go online is done anonymously, depending on their activities. That anonymity should not be stripped from them without a judicial warrant. Thank you. They are like, they are upholding our Fourth Amendment rights better than we're upholding our Fourth Amendment rights here in this country. It's crazy. This is I'm hoping that this is going to spur some action in this country as well, guys. It says, it continues on, warrantless demands by police of telecom companies warrantless demands by police of telecom companies amount to a search and are unconstitutional, the High Court said. Yes! It's a stunning declaration given revelations this year that telecom companies received nearly 1.2 million requests from law enforcement in 2011 alone. Big telecom companies like Shaw and Rogers said that they are reviewing the decision. The ruling deals with a Saskatchewan man who was charged with possessing and distributing child pornography after police used his internet access to get further details from his online service provider, all without first obtaining a search warrant. Lawyers for the man argued that violated his constitutional right to be protected from unlawful search and seizure. That's kind of like our Fourth Amendment. However, in the case of Matthew David Spencer, who brought the appeal, the judges said the evidence obtained by the police may be used to uphold a conviction on possession of child pornography, and entered in a new trial on distribution charges that the man has been acquitted of. The Supreme Court of Canada said, given the seriousness of the offenses and the fact that police were acting in good faith at a time when the law was uncertain, the evidence gathered in the search could be admitted against Spencer, and that to exclude it would bring the administration of justice to disrepute. The ruling immediately reverberated in Parliament in a debate over Bill C-13, the cyberbullying bill that amends the criminal code, as Evidence Act and the International Mutual Legal Assistance Act, and Bill S-4, the Digital Privacy Act, that would broaden access to subscriber data for investigations of breaches of contract and other laws. The NDP and Liberals demanded the Conservative government amend both to better protect personal information. When will they finally take a balanced approach to keep Canadians secure without infringing on constitutional rights? Demanded New Democrat MP Peter Julian. Yeah, right. Neither Prime Minister Stephen Harper nor Justice Minister Peter MacKay were present in the Commons. MacKay's Parliamentary Secretary Bob Dechert said that the government is reviewing the ruling and respects the court's work, but will continue to crack down on cyberbullies, and online criminals who work against and make our children and all Canadians unsafe. It's always for the children, people. It's always the children. Therein, however, said the government must rethink both bills in light of the Supreme Court's decision that subscriber information could in many cases be the key to unlocking sensitive details about a user's online activities and therefore worthy of constitutional protection. Simply including an immunity clause to protect telecoms who voluntarily disclose personal information does not constitute any lawful authority for the state to obtain that information under Canada's federal private sector privacy legislation, the Personal Information Protection and Economics. All right, I got to read that again. The Personal Information Protection and Economic Documents Act. Wow, that was long. Theron said in a statement, "It is a huge step forward toward Canadians in terms of privacy and electronic media," said lawyer Jules Presser on behalf of the Intervenor Criminal Lawyers Association of Ontario, who traced the evolution of how courts have viewed privacy. Well, this is a big deal, guys. She said internet users' expectation of privacy will still depend on factual context and circumstance. For instance, nobody has a reasonable expectation that their posts on Facebook are private. If they do, they're delusional. So this is how they're dismissing this, guys. This is exactly how they're trying to get around these rulings, even by the Supreme Court. They're just saying that it's putting children and families in danger. We've got to protect the children. The children aren't going to be in danger if we can't go in there and spy on everybody. It's for the children, remember. Presser said the ruling does not affect the powers of police to obtain warrantless access to data in emergencies, for example. Of course, in emergencies. If officers feared a child or any other person was at immediate risk of harm. Oh, okay. See, I told you. All I had to do was read the next paragraph. While the court said there is no obligation for telecoms to run over subscriber data, the ruling does not allow telecoms that become aware of criminal activity to voluntarily turn over data to the police. They just can't be compelled to do so without a warrant. Absolutely. That's exactly right. You can't do any of that stuff without first obtaining a warrant. If there is a child that's really in danger, the cops have to go get a freaking warrant and prove that there's literally something going on. University of Ottawa law professor Michael Geist, who holds the Canada Research Chair in Internet and E-commerce law, posted analysis online saying the ruling should have an immediate impact on police and, quote, the practice of obtaining information on a voluntary basis should come to an end. Yeah, you're a professor of law, right, dude? Mm-hmm. Alright. He said the conservative government should suspend its plans in Bill C-13 and Bill S-4, which would expand voluntary warrantless disclosure, and now that the provisions appear to be unconstitutional. I think those bills are exactly like our like the bills here that say internet freedom or whatever the hell those bills are called. I can't remember at the moment what they're trying to pass this kind of crap here. Let's see. The same can be said for virtually every ISP in Canada, Geist wrote. Two big internet services providers said Friday they were reviewing the ruling. Shaw, whose subscriber service policy was described as confusing by the High Court, declined any further comment. Rogers' spokesperson, Jennifer Kitt, emailed only a brief comment, "We'll continue to safeguard our customers' information and comply with the law." Well, I would certainly hope so. Aaron Fox, Spencer's lawyer, said Friday, "In our view, the SEC took a major step forward by recognizing the significant privacy rights in this case. but then took a big step backwards by failing to grant a remedy for the charter's breach they found. The overall principle in Friday's ruling is clear. Internet users have a reasonable expectation of privacy over information that can reveal the nature of their computer usage, and that privacy may only be intruded upon with a court order. Absolutely. The disclosure of this information will often amount to the identification of a user with intimate or sensitive activities being carried out online, usually on the understanding that these activities would be anonymous. A request by a police officer that an ISP, Internet Service Provider, voluntarily disclose such information amounts to a search, wrote Justice Cromwell. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank God for this justice, man. I mean, some of these guys still have their head on straight. Cromwell said that the police request that the ISP disclose the subscriber information was, quote, in effect, a request to link Mr. Spencer with the precise online activity that had been the subject of monitoring by the police, and thus engaged in a more significant privacy interest than a simple question posed by the police in the course of an investigation. Absolutely. They can set anybody up with this privacy. They can set anybody up they want without warrants. You know what I mean? They can say and do anything and place whatever the hell they want on somebody's computer without warrants. Alright, the court said the request by the police of Shaw to turn over the identifying information, name, address, and telephone number that ultimately led them to Spencer violated Section 8 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which says all Canadians have a right to free of unreasonable search and seizure. Absolutely. Cromwell said the police do not have the power to conduct a search for subscriber information in the absence of exigent circumstances or reasonable law. They did not gain a new search of power under Protection of Personal Information Electronics Documents Act, which was enacted to promote the protection of personal information. Alright, that's a pretty big deal here. Meanwhile, we've got over here in the U.S., we've got freaking Michael Hayden that used to be the head of I don't think he was the head of Homeland Security. Oh my God. He was Cupid doll, for anybody in the chat room who can tell me who Michael Hayden, the agency Michael Hayden used to head up. I can't remember. I think it was the Department of Homeland Security. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember, guys. But that guy is running around saying, he's running around the college circuits now, and I think I read this on air once, saying that the Fourth Amendment, the right to protect the American people from illegal searches and seizures is debatable. He's running around the college circuit saying these things, and continues to say these things. I thank God for the Canadian the Canadian judicial system. They're actually trying to look out for their people. If I don't have entire confidence that if a case came across the Supreme Court's docket, that they would rule so well in this country now. I think that I don't know. Are you there, Zori, at all? That's okay. Don't worry. I'll just have to crank this out for the next half hour, guys. There we go. Here we go. Thank you, Joe Friday. You rock, dude. Michael Vincent Hayden is a retired United States Air Force 4-star general and former director of the National Security Agency and director of the Central Intelligence Agency. Thank you, Joe. I knew he was like the director of one of those, and of course, director of the NSA and the CIA. And he runs around. Now he's retired, so-called retired, but he's running around the college circuits, like, completely trying to plant these seeds in these young people's heads that the Fourth Amendment is debatable, and it has, and he really concentrates on the wording. He likes to twist the words around to mean something else. I heard some rustling. Is that you, Zori?
Yeah, that was me. Sorry.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, Joe Friday, for that. Joe gets the Cupid doll. Yay! Totally fantastic. So did you hear any of that, what I was reading?
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're, at least the Canadians are, like, trying to keep the last vestiges of the internet, you know, in the wild like it was designed to be. It's not like that here anymore, here in America. They'll just...
Yeah, everything's tracked here.
Everything's tracked here. Everything is... They can, at any time, tap phone lines. They can tap... My phone line's still tapped, actually. And I'm not even being looked into anymore. Well, at least I don't think I am. But I heard the other day, I heard the little beep, and I heard the echo of the voice. Just yesterday, in fact. It's just ridiculous. How... I'm like out of all that now. I don't understand why I would still be... Maybe they're just, I don't know, making sure that I'm not getting out of line. But I am just talking to you good people here right now today. I'm already out of line. I'm already out of order. So, but, you know, like, at least the Canadians can be, safe that they... that they don't have to have the expectation of privacy. We don't have...
Unless, like, what if they're going to a site from an American site? Well, then they'd be tracked by ours.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's nothing that says that that law enforcement in the U.S. can't track Canadians.
Right.
We saw that with that one pot guy. I don't know, the King of Pot. I can't remember that dude's name. He lived in Canada. He lived in, like, I think Vancouver, in fact, and God, I can't remember the dude's name. But he lived in Canada, and he didn't ever cross the border into America. He didn't do any business here in America, from what I know. And but of course, the U.S. had to go in there and literally pluck that dude out of the Canadian territories and extradite him back here to face drug charges for marijuana here. And that, how in the hell can we do that kind of crap? I don't know how that's I don't know how that's legal at all. I have no idea. And really, I don't really know the circumstances in that guy's case. Can't even remember the dude's name, so...
Well, the Canadians had to have been part of it.
Yeah. He's known as the King of Pot. I can't remember that guy. He's still in federal prison right now. Damn it, I can't remember his name. I'm having a hard time this morning remembering stuff. So, that is... I don't think I'm going to read the rest of that, because that is a giant freaking article. Yeah, that's a huge freaking article. It just keeps going on. So, that's pretty much it. I guess if you're Canadian, you're safe for now on the internet. And if you're an American, then you will be tracked and traced. It doesn't matter what our Constitution says. It only matters what executive orders Obama is going to put in today.
Yeah. Well, it's like, what happened with that big storage unit thing in Utah? You don't hear anything about it anymore. I guess it's up and running and fine, huh?
Storage unit?
Yeah, that big building that they were building. They wanted to shut off the water to it. They were trying to shut the water down. Yeah.
The big NSA database building. Yeah, that's definitely up and running. I mean, they're storing it. So they got to store it somewhere. And yeah, they're using the water from all around there when it's a drought situation to cool off these freaking computers. Nope, here comes the sirens right past my house. Here they come. Or maybe they're going the other way, I hope.
Yeah.
I'm on a main thoroughfare here, and you can really hear them pretty loud. They go right past my house. Let's see. Oh, here's one. Here we go. I want to read this one. I'm going to switch gears here, because it's good to talk about this stuff, too. Gun control groups march across the Brooklyn Bridge to demand action. Hey, that's pretty cool. Let's see. Hundreds of people, let's see, when was this from? This was from Saturday, June 14th. It says hundreds of people crossed New York City's Brooklyn Bridge on Saturday morning to call for an end to gun violence in the U.S., united by the rallying cry, "Not one more." Oh boy, here we go. And the picture is, they got a bunch of freaking Obama signs and moms demand action, and it's all these stupid bitches in the picture here. Unfreaking believable. All these brainwashed people, I can't stand it. The slogan was inspired by Richard Martinez, whose son Christopher Michaels Martinez was one of the 3 California students killed in the May attack that left 7 people dead, including the shooter, Elliot Rodger. Immediately after the shooting, Martinez demanded lawmakers to put an end to gun violence. We really had 2 messages today, campaigner John Phillip told The Guardian. One was to get people to vote. That's an ongoing campaign. And the other message was to carry what Richard Martinez said, that not one more person needs to die from senseless gun violence. You know, that's like saying not one more person dies in a freaking car accident or some shit. You know what I mean? I mean, how the hell are you going to call for something like that? It's retarded. It's not one more person can drown in a lake, you know? Not one more person can die. Not one more person can die of a heart attack. Not one more person can die of a drug overdose. Damn it. It's just retarded. These people do not know how to use their freaking brains. And it's kind of pissing me off. I don't even know if I want to cover it because these people are idiots. Philip, I thought that I was hoping that it was the opposite. But it's a gun control group. So these gun control groups are crazy and insane and have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Philip is
not like if guns do the killing. It's the people behind it. And as long as you have evil people or people that want to hurt people, they're going to hurt people, whether it's with guns or anything else.
Right. Exactly. Or knives or, brass knuckles, for God's sakes. I mean, that kills somebody if you hit people hard enough. I mean, I don't know. These people are just, and I look at this picture. Maybe I'll just quickly post it in the chat because just the picture of these women, it's just really, they're just idiots. I will, let me post this real quick, just so you can get a gander at these stupid women that are at
what do they think is going to happen? If they get rid of all the guns, do they think no one's going to die from people hurting each other?
Exactly! And then the only group that will have guns are police officers.
And criminals.
Criminals, right. And more people are killed by cops on average than all of shootings put together in this country. I mean, more people are killed by cops than all the shootings that were ever put together in this entire history of this country. I mean, come on. It's just ridiculous.
Right, but they don't bring that part up, you know?
Well, no, they never bring that up, ever. Because they don't, you know, they can't see the forest through the trees here. They can't even see their own the back of their own hands. It says, Philip is the dad's chapter leader of Moms Demand Action. It's kind of like Moms Against, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And what good did they do? What good did Mothers Against Drunk Driving do? There's still assholes out there driving drunk en masse.
Well, didn't the lady who started that get arrested for drunk driving?
Yeah, I believe so. So, screw these stupid bitches, man. I hate these people. Philip is the dad's chapter leader of Moms Demand Action, which organized the event in conjunction with Mayors Against Illegal Guns and Everytown for Gun Safety, and with financial support from former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Of course, he's funding all this crap. Oh my God, these people. The group's second annual march followed a string of deadly shootings across the U.S., including the California shooting, a rampage, blah, 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 in Las Vegas, which a couple killed 3 people before being shot dead themselves, blah, blah, blah. A high school shooting in Oregon, in which one student killed another before shooting himself, and of course all these people ended up dead. And an attack on a Seattle University campus in which one person was killed before the gunman was subdued. Philip and his fellow marchers criticized Congress for failing to pass substantial gun legislation. Nothing's been happening, he said, so we've decided instead of waiting for Congress to get something done, it's time to take action! Everytown and Moms Demand Action want 1 million people to pledge to vote for candidates who support laws that could prevent gun violence, such as universal background checks. Campaigners met in downtown Brooklyn before crossing the bridge into Manhattan. They carried signs reading, "I can't make a victim tally sign." What? It says, the sign said, "I can't make a victim tally sign that won't be outdated before I finish." Does that make any sense?
No, not at all.
That's what the sign said.
And the main thing is, these women that start all this, they don't look at what's behind this. Like all these shooters that are on these drugs, and then they put their kids on these drugs.
Right. And then their kids go absolutely apeshit and start shooting up their schools because they're, like it's the SSRI drugs coupled with the glyphosates that they're consuming on a regular basis, and their bad freaking diets, and and then it just bam, they become unhinged chemically in their brains.
Yeah, it seems easier to blame the guns than to find the source that is causing the people to use the guns.
Exactly, because the guns can't walk around, the guns can't get up and shoot anybody, the guns can't, tout themselves, into a situation. They don't have any legs or arms or any of this shit. So everybody blames the guns instead of the crazy people that are behind the trigger.
And the main source is for the government gets all this going because they have propaganda and because it's another way to disarm the American people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what happens when the American people get disarmed? The rest of the world will fall into abject slavery and subjugation.
Yep, give up your gun, you're a slave.
That's right. It's not going to happen. Let's see. I'm sorry, guys. Many families brought their children to the march, and some could be seen carrying homemade signs reading, "No guns, no shooting kids." And this is my second march. Make it my last. Oh, come on. People, it just... the prudiness of these stupid bitches, man. It just drives me insane. I cannot stand prudy bitches. If there's something that drives me crazy, it's prudy bitches. Alright, and that's what all these people are, man. Nothing but prudes. The march ended with a rally outside City Hall where people spoke about their experience with gun violence, including moms demand action. First, same thing they did with the Sandy Hook crap. First youth ambassador, 8-year-old Christopher Underwood, whose mother was killed in a shooting. Well, I'm sorry, kid, that your mom got killed, but it's not the gun's fault. Oh, boy. I don't know if I want to read any more of this. I shouldn't start stuff it's just so stupid. It's all Carolyn Maloney, a Democrat in New York City, with a Democrat in New York, U.S. representative said, "We have to stop the madness. Too many people have died and too many lobbyists had lied." That's funny. The actress Amanda Peet urged the crowd to bombard their elected officials with requests for stricter firearms restrictions. The cheers from the crowd, which ended the march with a rally outside City Hall, were occasionally interrupted by shouts from the right to bear arms from a lone counter... Oh, here we go. This is interesting. Let me read this again. Here we go. Cheers from the crowd, which ended the march with a rally outside City Hall, were occasionally interrupted by shouts about the right to bear arms from a lone counter-protester. Like, okay, guys, like there's one guy out there, going for gun rights. He's out there shouting for gun rights. One guy. Give me a break. I can guarantee you that there was a hell of a lot more than just one guy out there. Alright? The group also included relatives of victims killed in the December 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting in Connecticut. They're still using these poor people, in which 20 young children and 6 adults were killed, and members of the anti-gun violence group Newtown Action. The Newtown gunman, Anna Lanza, also killed his mother and himself. They always kill themselves. Congress failed to pass a bill following that shooting, which, despite efforts by groups like those marching on Saturday, more states have since eased gun laws than have restricted them. That's right. We're the only developed country where this happens. That's not true. And it happens weekly, President Barack Obama said earlier this week. Our levels of gun violence are off the charts. Oh, boy. Alright, well, that's the end of that stupid-ass article. I shouldn't have even read it. It was totally pointless. Sorry. Oh, my God. I guess, I don't know. Man stabs 3 with a machete. Well, let's ban machetes. I don't know. I don't know where to go. It's 10 more minutes left. I don't know.
Everything's a mess.
Everything's just totally messed up. People have these libtards have no freaking clue at that they're just absolutely encouraging more of this stuff to happen by calling for gun restrictions and gun legislation, because criminals are always going to get these guns, no matter what they say. And literally, we've read here on air where mass shootings have hit a 30-40 year low in this country.
Right, and less police are being killed by guns. And then, they hit us with so many things at once and so many distractions that, I don't know, it's, how do you they never follow up.
Right.
Anything.
There's no follow-up whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just thrown out there, just like with this last shooting in Vegas. There were so many different stories out there. It's according to which one you read as to which ones you thought were the facts, which came out a little later. But then now, where did that stand? Who did they even kill those two or what? No one's seen them. They were in the back of the store. It's just they said they were, first she killed her husband. No, then the police killed him.
Yeah.
And it just goes crazy. So how can anyone make a definite decision about anything when you can't even get the truth out of any of it?
That's right. It's true, and that was like the reason why I illustrated like the differences in the stories when that story came out. First you had just the facts. First it was just the facts, right? And then the next story came out, and then a little more like bullshit was added, and then a little more bullshit was added, and then more bullshit came out. And now, instead, and it's exactly right. Now, all of a sudden, it was the cops that took those people out. It wasn't themselves that took each other out. You know what I mean? And the story just changes and changes to suit whatever narrative that they want to, the public to hear. It's
then it disappears.
And then it disappears altogether, right? When other stuff, like when something else, oh look, we don't have to think about this anymore. We don't have to talk about it anymore. So this is the way the precedents in this country. This is the precedents that's set and being set, and the psychological operations that are being run on the American people. Mm-hmm. And then and then these dumbasses believe all of it and start marching across the damn Brooklyn Bridge. It's just people buy this crap hook, line, and sinker.
Well, it also gives them, like the police, more reason to kill innocent people. But then people will go, yeah, but just look at what happened before. They have to be, on guard. They have to be fearful for their lives. They have to make it home alive. But what about the innocent people they kill that don't make it home alive?
Right. Absolutely. I mean, I'm all for, cops coming home to their families at night. Then why turn around and just start flipping out, like, over a motorist that, like, goes in and reaches in the back of his pickup truck, and I can't remember the object he was...
Oh, yeah, he's going for his cane.
Going for his cane, yeah, and then he gets shot dead. You know? I mean,
but he didn't make it home that night because the cop was more overly paranoid, but then the public takes the cop side. Now, it's just... It's like a spoiled child. If you don't discipline them or keep them in line, then they disrupt everything. But it's okay. It's the parents' fault. Well, this is, the cops use every little thing they can to condone their killing and hurting of American innocent people.
Exactly. And just, yeah. They'll use any little excuse, and oh my God, it's like they're afraid of their own shadows or something.
And that's very dangerous.
Are we like really, literally breeding an entire crop of scared men?
Yeah. You know, it's always, oh, I thought they were reaching for this. I thought they were doing this. And you know, everything's okayed. Everything that they do, they have a license to kill, a license to torment, a license to beat up, you know, the innocent.
Yeah. Oh, I was afraid for my life. Oh my God, the guy in a wheelchair pulled out a pen. Holy shit, I'm afraid. Oh, he's gonna hurt me. And
or the kid that was running away from the cops and they shot him in the back because they were afraid for their lives.
Yeah, running away. Yeah, exactly.
And what's people that? Just eat it up.
Right. And what's that kid gonna do? I mean, is he gonna like turn around with his like laser eye beams and stuff and like Cyclops your ass to death? I mean, what the? You know, what are these people? What are they thinking? They're not thinking at all.
Yeah, but yet the tank comes running over your house.
Right, and they want to take guns out of the hands of American citizens, and just put them all into the hands of these crazy trigger-happy cops that are scared for their lives.
It's punishing the innocent for what the bad people do. It's punishing innocent people. Take away the law-abiding citizens who have guns in their home to protect themselves. Punish them for the ones that are on these SSRIs that go out and kill innocent people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas a well-armed populace would be able to stop that freak that's freaking out on the SSRI.
Right.
From, you know what I mean? Like if somebody, somebody in that Walmart where those two were there, I mean, had a freaking sidearm. Bam, bam, done. You know.
Well, the one did have a gun, but you know, train yourself, learn how to handle situations where if there was 5 people in that store, then there wouldn't have been any more deaths because they would have taken them out.
Exactly. Well, guys, we're at the end of the show. Kind of limped through that one, but hey, it's all right. We'll be back tomorrow. Stay, let's see. Stay tuned to UCY.TV. It's Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. Stay tuned at 1 o'clock for The Edge with John Stokes, and at 3 o'clock is the Jack Blood Show. And at 8 o'clock, guys, is the Boiler Room Radio with Jim, Funky, and Lance. And then at 9, we've got Truth on the Tracks with Brandon Turvaville. At 10, well, it's a prime time with Random Replay. And then at 11, we've got Anti-Media Radio with Nick Burnaby. Stay tuned for all the programming here on UCY.TV, guys. And we wish everybody a happy week, and stay safe out there.
Thanks for hanging, guys. Have a good Monday. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care.